So we're making our way up now, away from the bottom end of the park, onto the top level at the back, which used to be where all the thrill rides were, the roller coasters, etc. So as a kid, I loved it down here. And I remember my parents dragging me up to the top end and me panicking, thinking, uh-oh, means I'm gonna go on the big rides. But anyway, right here to get up to the second level, there used to be like a rampway. If I remember rightly, you made your way through the bottom end of the park here, and then up and down this zigzag ramp, which took you to this bit here. And then you would have headed up here, as you do today. It's all strange because it looks so different now, heading up to the second level here. And I do remember when you came out into the top section, there'd been a large tent building right there, which had a food court in it, and if I remember rightly, a Wimpy. So we just head onto the site. You can see, or maybe this was the food court actually. I think it was. I think this was the Wimpy, because you can see the concrete stanchions there that held the tent up above it. It was like an indoor tent area, a bit like a smaller version of the Butlins Skyline Pavilion. And you can clearly see the stanchions there to hold the supports. And the food area, probably the prep kitchen area. Just there you can see the former driving school attraction, the Bertie Bassett sponsored driving school. And you can still see, again, the trackway here, the attraction. Still got the arrows on the road there, look, and the former markings. So let's have a look in the station building. Yeah, here's the station building where you would have boarded the little driving school cars. But as you can see, this building is in a very poor state now, which is why I'm standing right on the edge of it. It's almost falling backwards down the hill. Now check this out. One of the very few buildings that still remain on the site today. Like I said, today, for the horror event, it is a clown maze. But this used to be, if I remember rightly, a big soft play area. Another one. We had quite a few here at Camelot. Now I have been told we're allowed inside, but not on the second level, because I'm told it's not very safe anymore up there. You can see the second level just there. It's just a large warehouse building, as you can see now. It's really hard to work it out because we've got the dividing walls in here for the scare maze. The former play area and the backside here, like I said, this second level now is totally condemned, so we can't go up there. And again, you can see more of that play area just there. A lot of it, like I said, has been destroyed by vandals. Yeah, one last look from the outside before we move on to some more buildings just over there. And again, as we're making our way through, you can see the old pathways through. An old building there, probably a toilet block by the looks of it. We'll have a quick look inside. Yeah, it looks like a toilet block to me. This is quite spooky in itself. Yeah, definitely toilets. You can still see clearly where everything was, and the urinals right there. I presume the other side is going to be pretty much the same. You can just see down the side of that building there. And then onto the lake just there, which used to stand here when the park was here. Now we're heading up to the site opposite the toilet block of the Whirlwind attraction, which was the spinning roller coaster. And it was quite a popular ride, this one, because it was very unique at the time, until Alton Towers built theirs. But if I remember rightly, the station building was over here. So the loading platform, I believe, was right there in that small ditch. And then the lift hill was at the back there, heading up into the first drop. And the rest of the ride on this site here. There used to be obviously another attraction here before that. Now there won't be much in the way of foundations for the Whirlwind roller coaster because it was, as far as I'm aware, a travelling version of that ride. So it was literally a piece of tarmac and they could put it up like at a fairground. We made our way down from the Whirlwind site, which is just there. Now this was the former site of the major roller coaster they had in the 80s that I remember, the Tower of Terror, which was right here in front of us. You had the large castle building right there with the loop inside it, and the lift hill just at the back where those trees are there. as the drop swooped around in front here. It took up all of this site. You can see where the fence line roughly would have been. But later on, after the ride was demolished or moved to another park in Scotland, this section here became a flat ride known as Excalibur. And then many years later, it became Excalibur 2, which was a completely different ride. But you can see the foundation here that they used for the ride, this large square here. There's some remains of a demolished building there. Probably some kind of a game stall or theming structure for the Excalibur rides that were here. And then, in its later years, in fact, in its final years as a theme park, you had a brand new roller coaster right there. When I say brand new, it was actually a second-hand ride from Japan, if I remember rightly. But it was brought here for quite a few £1 million and built right there. But it was a lot larger than the Tower of Terror, and it took up this whole site here, right to the back there. But it was completely demolished and scrapped after only a few years of operation. You can see lots of rubble here on the former Nightmare site. There was also another roller coaster here just before Nightmare called the Gauntlet, which was a bit rickety and not very good. But what you can see here is the foundations of maybe the old castle structure for the Tower of Terror. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's hard to tell where exactly we are. But if you look down here, you can see many parts of the roller coaster, which is a shame. You can see lots of brown steel in here, which was the roller coaster track. It was a brown in colour as well. Along with the drive wheel, the roller coaster. I'll just zoom in on that for you. Yeah, that would have been a drive wheel, probably before the station building to bring the trains in, and probably some old electrical component there as well. Maybe the old control panel, something like that. It's amazing what you can find in this rubble. Bit of circuit board there. There's something. Who knows what that would have been. Now this to me looks suspiciously like a piece of squashed roller coaster track. You can even see the marking down the middle where the wheels have worn away. The paint from the ride. It does look like that to me. It's being squashed in the demolition process. Just some more stuff around the back here. Again, another drive wheel there. Yeah, a lot of it was scrapped obviously and sold off. There are some bits still here. I'm currently roughly where the station building was, if I remember rightly, probably here. You can see some of the concrete blocks down there and a lot of the rebar sticking out of the ground for the station building again probably. And then we're just making our way away from the former Nightmare site, which is behind me. And this over here, I remember being a very weird flat ride. It started its life at the American Adventure Theme Park in Nottingham, which was the sister park to this one. If you remember, Granada TV that owned Camelot also owned American Adventure in the 80s and the mid-90s. And right here was a ride called the Terror Rack. It was a strange contraption. Some random building here. Again, probably ice cream kiosk or something. Let's have a poke in and have a look. Not much in there, just breeze blocks. It probably was actually maybe a substation or something like that. Yeah, it's not very big. Not big enough for a ice cream, I wouldn't have thought. And it hasn't got the window on the front. Going around the top end here, lots of foundations of former attractions, and also a stables somewhere over the back end here. Now do ignore the music, they are playing the Halloween music because like I said, tonight this will be a horror event on the park, which is why I've been allowed in. They're currently testing the audio and playing the Halloween soundtrack, and that is so creepy when you're walking around an abandoned theme park and you can hear the Halloween music blaring out. Again, another building here. I'm not 100% sure what this would have been, but let's just have a quick look inside. It's so hard to tell. It could have been game stalls again, or maybe a little cafe, or who knows. I just put my floodlight on so you can see better in this room here. Yeah, I'm not sure what this was. Maybe offices. Let's have a quick look out the back. This would have been obviously behind the building. Another building down here. It's been demolished. Now ignore the camper van. That's obviously part of the theming for the horror event, but you can see some rubble there from a former building. And then there's a large lake just over here, which has always been here, even from the early days of Camelot. And it's still there today. Now just down here you can see some random rebar sticking out of the ground, surrounded by concrete. Now I know what that is. That is one of the stanchions or the foundations for the Nightmare roller coaster, which was all the way up there because the first drop came down and the track made its way all the way around the back of the site here and then back up to the main part of the site. So you can see all these large concrete foundations with rebar sticking out. Well, there we go. I hope you enjoyed our look at the abandoned theme park of Camelot. Now, a big thank you to ParkNParty. And if you want to come down and check out the Scare City event, like I said, it will be on next Halloween right here at Camelot, and you'll get to see what I've seen. Thank you very much for joining us. I've had a fantastic day and the light is fading fast. I'll see you on the next video next week. Bye for now.